Yeah, there's a famous, infamous maybe, I don't know, there's a YouTube video with this guy that is lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. And they're doing it they're making fun of this kid, but that's what he was doing, right? He was practicing his LARPing or his spell casting, because you could cast spells, in LARPing.
Original geek, that's who I am. Rolling 20s with my squad, we got a plan. Marvel heroes on the wall, D&D dice in hand. Original geek, across the land. Level up, never gonna give it up.
All right. Welcome to The Original Geek. This is the podcast for anyone who rolled dice in a basement, waited all night for a comic book cover to download, and proudly wore that label of geek back when it could get you shoved into a locker. Each week, we're going to dive into what it meant to be geek in the 70s and 80s and how it compares to today's pop culture multiverse. We are your hosts, two of the Gen X survivors who didn't just watch the geek culture evolve. Nope, we lived through every awkward phase. Hi, I'm Steve Scarfo.
And I'm Jeff Shaw.
No, sorry. Oops, that lore is no more. It is time for canon correction. Yeah, so I was giving Jeff crap last time that he had two canon corrections and I was at 0, and I somehow managed to fucking double it up in one episode. So I cocked up a couple things during the last episode. First one is really embarrassing for me because we talked about how the Pink Panther, this was during comedy movies, was a bad representation for Steve Martin, and it just didn't do what it was supposed to do. And we hated how, and I was in Pink Panther 1 and it never got a sequel. And then I was embarrassed because I looked back at my own stuff because I have clips that I use for promo, and I was actually in Pink Panther 2. The one I couldn't remember existed. And hopefully the casting companies never hear that. I couldn't even remember it was a movie. For some reason, I thought it was Pink Panther 1. So that's my first correction.
I love that you couldn't even correct me.
I didn't. I could have in the moment.
If you had done that, then I would have done a canon correction, and it'd be 1. I'd only have to have done 1 because you would have corrected.
Well, and then I wouldn't have had to do this one because I screwed up my own history. This is why it's so damn embarrassing.
Yeah.
And the second one, we were talking about swear words on TV, and we were talking about how it was I thought for sure it was the word bitch.
When you said that, I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah,
but you said it with such conviction that I just believed you.
I stand by. Bitch was one of the first words. Maybe it was a primetime TV. The moonlighting thing. It was the first. I stand by. I might correct this in 2 weeks, but I stand by that was definitely a moonlighting thing.
Okay.
But the word on, and it wasn't Simpsons. It was South Park. It wasn't bitch. It was shit. I have completely hosed up that whole thing. It was season 5, episode 1, and it was called "It Hits the Fan." And I remembered part of it correctly, which is it had a little counter in the upper right-hand corner. So every time someone said the word shit, it was ding, 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 ding. And it, I just had to find out. So it was 162 times they said it, and it was in written form 38 times for a total of 200 times in one episode of South Park, which is what, 20 minutes, 22 minutes, which is roughly once every 8 to 12 seconds, whatever the hell it is. It was funny.
Love that. Nice.
All right, so that's the canon corrected, and now we're even up 2 and 2, so it's game on again, Shaw. But we have our very first answer or Ask an OG response.
Yes, we do.
That we're going to read live on the air. So, Jeff, take it away.
You got geeky questions? Well, we got ancient answers. It's time to Ask an OG.
All right, so this comes in from Kristen. I hope you didn't miss mentioning E.T. as a summer blockbuster. Of course, we did, and that also that we forgot to also mention that we used to have to call in to the movie theater to listen to what was playing, and if you called in and you missed the movie time, you had to go all the way back, make the phone call again because it didn't replay itself. So those are two things. So first, let's talk about E.T. Yes.
I don't know how. How the hell did we miss E.T.?
I know. So E.T. was huge. And what's doubly bad about missing E.T., it was the first time that they really proved the power of product placement, because they wanted M&Ms that ET
Yes.
was following, and M&Ms wouldn't do it. And so they went to Hershey and got Reese's Pieces instead. And it was huge. It showed the benefit of product placement in films. And thereafter, product placement was just huge. And I still remember it got so big they made fun of it in Wayne's World. I love that so much.
Well, there was a movie Adam Sandler did. I almost think we mentioned it during one of the last episodes. It must have been during the comedy episode. But Adam Sandler did an animated movie called 8 Crazy Nights, which was nothing but product placement. Like there's a whole song they did in the mall about all of the stores in the mall. Like, every one of those was a product.
Yeah. So
I'm sure they made the movie based on the money made from those ads.
Yeah. So, I mean, like there was it's not like it was the first time there's product placement, but it was so prominent in the film and so profitable for Hershey's. Like that's when it showed the power it can have. And the second thing I want to say about E.T. from a flashback point of view memory is I remember going to the theater with my brother, my mother, my stepfather, my stepsister, and my sister as well. And my stepsister Heather famously talks through movies, and my brother Mark and I refused to sit with them. And my mom thought we were making a big deal out of nothing, but still, like, my brother and I sat away from them. And after the movie, she's like, "You're right." She spoke the whole time. She asked questions the whole time, which your mom famously does as well.
Oh my God, my mother is the worst. Like the movie will come on screen, it literally fade in, woman in the room getting ready. Who is that and what is she doing? Like, I have no fucking clue. The movie just started. It's funny you bring up the product placement and the stuff from E.T. I wondered if you were heading towards the Reese's Pieces. It's funny too. I love that it was just part of the story. It wasn't like they shoehorned in Reese's Pieces. He had to be attracted to something.
Yeah.
And they just were able to leverage a product really well. And that was awesome. But I remember going to a movie. I don't remember who I was with. I don't know if it was with you guys or maybe it was guys I was working with at one of the restaurants when we were in high school or college. But we went to see a movie and the kid had the big bucket of popcorn and he cut out the 2 holes and he put it over his head. And I didn't see him do it. And all of a sudden I look over and he goes, E.T. It was just a bucket of popcorn on his head. I'm like, that was awesome. But, stuff I don't know how we missed. I'm not sure how we missed that. So, Kristen, I'm sorry. And I'll tell you what, the second half of that, I'm equally stunned because I was all about the nostalgia of the lines and this and how to get in. And you didn't even know it. I didn't even remember having to do a phone call to find out what was at the movies.
Yeah.
You'd get that. And it was always a regular tape too. So you had to wait for it to rewind before you could call back.
Yeah. It I forgot about the pain of that. And then it was busy, the line being busy too.
Oh,
so like
God.
you're like, what? You're call. So just younger generations, when you made phone calls and the line could be busy. Like now you just kind of get through or you can leave a voicemail. Like you had one shot. It had to be
Here
available.
You go. Ready?
So and you just keep calling and calling and calling. And eventually like you could be worried about even missing the movie. So you just drove down. And often like just, if we're driving by the movie theater, we're like, oh, swing by. Let's check out when the movie times are.
Yeah, because there was always the sign up front that had the times listed.
Yeah.
You could pull up and go, oh, wait, it doesn't start for an hour. Quick, let's go get a burger. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Crazy that we
Those are the days.
Well, so listen, if you've heard one of our episodes and you're like Kristen and going, how the hell did you not say this? Or why were you talking about that so much? Send us a note. originalgeekpodcast@gmail.com. Write in, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. And as you can see, we'll call ourselves out on our own bullshit when we're full of shit. And we're okay
out.
with getting called out because you know what? It's still fun.
So we do appreciate that. We've also gotten some people who have sent in ideas for episodes, like John Hughes movies, things like that. So we definitely we'll do that too. So that's not really asking an OG; it's more suggestion of a whole topic, which we will get to. John Hughes movies, absolutely, we got to get to that as a topic. Love those
What's
movies.
happening in the hot stuff?
But I think it's finally time to bring us to our topic, which
Topic for the day.
I promise you that we will be the foam swords in this epic battle for you. And let's hear what the topic is.
We're dropping into Renaissance fairs and maybe a subculture of that, the world of LARPing. Now, I'm going to say it. I think probably anyone listening to this podcast, if you've gotten 9 minutes and 49 seconds into this particular episode, you're someone who knows what LARPing is. But just in case you don't, it's live action role playing. It is the act of and it's typically a D&D style scenario, wizards and sword play. It's almost like a like there's people who do Civil War reenactments, but it's not a reenactment. It's a live game. It's a real story unfolding using props and costumes and weapons that are safe. And we'll talk about the weapons in a bit, but yeah, we're going to talk about that. So, I did a little research. And apparently the first Renaissance Fair happened in 1963, and it actually started as sort of a living history with theater. It was sort of a reenactment that it started.
Yeah, so it was the Society of Creative Acronism, right?
Yes.
SCA, yeah.
They were ska. Maybe that's where ska came from.
Yeah, yes. Of course. There's no way we'd have to do a canon correction for SCA being the same as SKA.
Yeah, I mean, those are the same, right?
Identical.
The same.
Of course.
Yeah, they called it half education and half costume party. So they knew they were playing, but they were trying to be accurate. And apparently it just took off, with
Yeah, we have a Ren Fair in our area. I think it's end of May. In our region of New Hampshire, I went once. What's kind of cool about the Ren Fair is you don't have to be in costume. You can just go in, kind of experience it, and dressed however you want to be dressed. I mean, go in costume, you get in totally into it, or you can just be a casual observer, partake of the Ren Fair, and just be a spectator, really.
Yeah.
Whereas LARPing is totally immersive, right?
Yeah, that's the New Hampshire Renaissance Fair. It's in Fremont in May.
Yeah.
We took the girls last year, and it was a straight up split. The girls wanted to get dressed up. They dressed up as kind of pirates, and Petra and I were just walking around in jeans,
okay,
kind of regular. We were the regular people.
More recently.
Yeah, we just went. We took them for the first time. Olivia really wanted to go and check it out.
Cool.
So we went last year. We just took a day. One of our neighbors, her daughter used to go all the time. So we met up with her and her friend. And it was kind of cool. But there's a couple others I didn't know about. This Vagabonds Fair, apparently a Ren Fair in Dover.
Oh.
And then there's one in Bedford, New Hampshire at Camp Allen. And that is a full LARP.
Oh, wow.
So maybe we'll have to get the boys together and go LARP as old men.
I know.
Yeah. That and the LARP is definitely, you're in. There's no in or out. There's no casual observer. You get dressed up. You pick a character. I remember, and I know we're going to talk more about this in our flashback. But there were rules to combat, like, I assume every LARP has their own set of rules and what's magic and how it all works. So the mechanics of it are different, but
yeah, there's a famous, infamous, maybe, I don't know, like it was a YouTube video with this guy that was lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. And they're doing it as like they're making fun of this kid, but like that's what he was doing, right? He was like practicing his LARPing or his spell casting, because you could cast spells.
Yeah.
In LARPing.
But again, it's hysterical because in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, your character casts a spell. There's verbal, somatic, there's material components, right? You need bat's wings and a certain word, and you have to throw it. And in order to try to make that real for the LARPing, they feel like they have to, but they never come up with anything like overly complex. It's just pointing and yelling the word lightning bolt. Like, you don't have to practice saying the words lightning bolt, I don't think, but he did. There's another video I want to talk about too, and this is the first time I saw it online. I had to look it up. It was, I guess, a couple years ago, and it is a guy who's in like night gear, and he calls himself a healing monk. And they're like doing a LARP, and they find an actual dead body, like it's a real situation.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I'll play the clip. I'll drop the clip in here for visual and audio purposes.
We were in the middle of our tournament when my friend John said he found a body in the bushes over there. I ran over there because I'm a healing monk to try and help, but obviously my magic wasn't strong enough because the dude's body was missing a head. So my friend decided to try and use a necromancer spell, which didn't work, which I knew it wouldn't. And apparently we contaminated the crime scene because that spell uses a lot of glitter.
He's obviously taken this too far. And it's like, okay, I love all this stuff, but maybe don't go near a real dead body with your role-playing spell.
Well, they're getting
casting.
into it. We were just talking about that. At a Ren Fair, you can be a spectator.
Yeah.
You can just experience it as much or as little as you want. But for LARPing, you have to get into it.
Oh, listen, you cannot doubt this guy's commitment by any stretch. For sure.
Yeah. And actually that right after our flashback, we're going to get into this, a slight debate. It's going to be a mild geek court because we don't have
like
strong feelings.
It's like geek traffic court.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a people's court.
It's like, oh yeah, definitely Wapner, yeah. But just to do a little split on the history, LARPing, I guess, started in the 70s. So not long after Run Fair, someone decided, oh, this would be a good point that we could bring in weapons. And so apparently now, this was something I just learned while I was looking stuff up. They have vampire LARPs.
Yeah.
Like you can role play those kind of stuff. It's not strictly Dungeons and Dragons. It's not strictly medieval times anymore.
Yeah, there's and I was looking one up. I thought, you said we could do the one in Dover, go medieval, but this one actually sounds there's this other one called Wasteland Weekend that I looked up, and it sounds awesome. It's post-apocalyptic festival. So it's Mad Max. Like, that would be awesome.
Oh, that would be freaking awesome.
This year, it's September 24th to 20th. We can't do it this year, but maybe one of these years doing a Mad Max themed LARPing, that would be awesome. I would think that would be so great.
I will say, no matter what the next thing we do is, we're going to have phones and cameras and recordings with us so that whenever we come back, we can report back just how fun and ridiculous it is. And which one of us gets hurt the easiest, which will probably be me. But
yeah, and it's funny. We live in New Hampshire. My wife and I go to Quebec relatively often, and I had seen this advertised. It's called oh my God, my French is going to be so bad. Actually, it's.
Can we canon correct your French now before you do it?
I don't know. I should have looked this up how to pronounce this, but Bicolline, Bicolane. I'd seen it before. I thought it was just like a medieval village, but it's like full on LARPing. Like it's like it is a medieval village that they've constructed, but there's like this persistent world with character. It's like World of Warcraft there, like with actual large scale battles. It's an immersive atmosphere. Very strict with their medieval theme. Like you have to go in. I don't think you can go in as a spectator. I think you have to go in costume. But that's pretty cool. I mean, there's like so many things. Like if we had them or known about them, back in the 80s when we were, fully immersed in all of this, that we would have taken advantage of. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to check that one out. Yeah, it's funny you were saying that as you were talking about if we'd have known. It reminds me of the internet episode, and kind of the reason this whole podcast exists is if we had had half of the stuff that's available today, our childhoods would have been so much different. We would have known because we would have been able to find it on Google that there's this place in Canada, and we were like, oh, let's go to Canada for the weekend and have fun.
Right. And like even, I know it sounds weird to think of with, the amount of D&D stuff that was available, and there were hobby stores, but we still felt relatively like alone. Like it was hard to, like it seems like you didn't want to just advertise who you were. And to find out, like, there's so many people that embrace this, that there are now thousands of people that go to LARPing and Renaissance fairs and things like that we are far more common. There are far more of us than we realized. We just couldn't have known.
Let's take a trip through time. It's a Geek flashback.
All right. Well, we're flashing back now. And as
We
you
need
may
our
have
historian,
noticed,
Boyd Tufts.
if you're watching, you will have noticed that we've been joined by a third whose name you've heard many times if you've been listening. This is Boyd, the infamous Boyd, who has been living this quiet, geeky life with us for the past 50 some odd years. So,
Howdy.
All right. So we were talking Ren fairs and LARPing. And Jeff has pointed out very, very rightly that you were the one who started all this. So tell us where it came from.
What, the LARPing?
Yeah, because I remember going to the hardware store, getting the PVC, getting the foam, getting the duct tape, building my 6-foot-long two-handed sword.
Yeah.
But I was fairly certain it was your idea. But what I couldn't remember is how you got that idea.
Well, so Steve and I were always looking for like a live action role play, and I don't know how we got it, but there was a booklet, and I think I had to mail away for it, but it was somewhere in Massachusetts, and it was called Nero, New England role playing. I don't know if it stands for live role playing. I don't know, but anyway, in the back of that pamphlet, they had LARPing events that of course, we desperately wanted to go to, and from that information, I started learning how they were making weapons out of PVC piping and like pipe insulation. That's what we use, the pipe insulation that goes over piping in houses.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where it came from.
So, and I also don't remember, did we have any rules, or were we just whipping each other?
No, we had rules. Who was there? Ponders was there, Steve, Dunbar. I think Dave was there too, and
was Hutchinson there?
Yeah, Hutchinson was there. I can't remember who came up with it though, but the frisbees were the area of effect spells. I think that was you, Jeff. I think the frisbees were the area of effect spells, so we had different, and there were rules. I think there was, there was so many.
This is
hits
why we
that
have
you. Could
you.
take.
That's awesome. We threw frisbees at each other.
Yeah, that was part of it. Because remember, we played a lot of Ultimate Frisbee back then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that a little bit.
But we didn't know what to do for a spell, and then we figured out a Frisbee would be perfect. And we had Frisbees and tennis balls, stuff like that. But yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, it was like 3 or 4 hits, I want to say. There was a number of hits. And you couldn't go for the face, obviously, because we didn't wear any protection. There was nothing. We didn't have helmets. We didn't have eye protection. We didn't have anything. And we're out there beating on each other with these things. Yeah, I remember that two-handed sword. That was awesome.
What was your weapon?
I had a two-handed sword.
You did that too? Okay.
Yeah, it was in my basement. Don't you remember? It was in my basement of the house across the street forever.
Those things
we played D&D in there all the time, and it was just there.
They were so goddamn long. I did like a long sword. I could never get near you guys.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome.
I could never get near you. You'd be like 7 feet away. Bap. Like, what?
Yeah. We had a staff too. A staff and that long sword and the greatsword were the best because of the reach. Yeah. But then someone came up with the frisbees and stuff, and I don't know. Yeah. At one point we had an all-out melee. I don't know if we were keeping track of points or what.
Just whipping on each other.
Yeah, I remember was it behind your grandparents' house? Was that
it was. It's right out this window right here. Yep.
Yeah, I remember we tried to do a thing where, like, if you hit them in the arm, they couldn't use that arm anymore.
Right.
Like, it was almost like you cut the arm off or you injured it too much. That was, I don't remember numbers
That was our
of
crits.
points.
Yeah. I think it was 2 hits on an arm, on the same arm, and it was disabled or something. I can't remember. We had rules. You make up rules. I can't say that they were from Nero, but I think we used their rules loosely. Like, we use all rules loosely, right? Any rules we get, we like, here's the rules. Now here's how we're going to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, we had a basis.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try this. I don't know if this will work for the video, so I might edit it, but I'm going to share my screen because I don't know if you've seen these. Let's show this. This is the behind the scenes BS. Okay. This is what a foam sword looks like today. This is a LARPing foam sword.
Wow.
And then
If only.
this, oh, that's a brick wall. That's the wrong direction. So pretty long, 104 centimeters, 40, almost 41 inches long. That's what we used.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's awesome.
Only ours had some reach with those two-handed.
That was probably
We
my
actually
sword.
made it. We made it like per the specs. I remember cutting that PVC pipe, and we were like, "Yeah, it's gonna be this long." We were like, "Holy crap!" And then when we put the foam on it, it got even
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
I remember trying to convince my parents that it was okay. Like, no, I just need pipe and foam and duct tape. And it just it doesn't sound like a good thing.
Remember Dunbar's dad? He hated D&D and stuff like that. He was the one who was quoting that it was satanic and all this, and Bill had to deal with that whole thing every time he went to play. Every time we dug him out of his dungeon.
Yeah, their family was very religious.
Yeah,
Nice.
but yeah, he still played. We had a great time, man. I love that.
Yeah.
He did that for a while too. Like, it came and went, but
We
for
started
months.
when
So you'll join us
15?
when we've because in our research we found there's quite a few LARPing events. There's one that I'd be really interested in. I know it's not medieval, but there's one in California. It's Mad Max.
oh wow,
So
it's a whole weekend of being in the desert.
let's go post-apocalyptic and
you're going there?
well, that's what I feel like as a group we gotta like, in the years to come we got to get back together and because these live action role playing events are pretty amazing. There's different ones around the country, around the world. It'd be pretty cool.
We found that there's
Do
actually
some
a couple-
conditioning before I get into that. I'm good for about 25 seconds.
Well, that's why you need the Mad Max. Come on.
Yeah. Well, let's step it to something around here. There's got to be something around here now because like it almost started here, didn't it? Where was it? In Massachusetts.
Oh
I
yeah.
forget.
Well, there's LARPing events around here. There's
There's
Dover
one in
even has
Bedford,
one.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, Bedford.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fealty
but
High
no.
Fantasy LARP in Bedford.
We just gotta get back into shape. We got a little Rocky. Rocky.
Can you imagine like a Rocky-esque montage, but it's us with friggin' plastic swords?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great.
There we go.
You got to put that montage together for your podcast, Steve. That'd
Yes,
be great.
100%.
Bunch of 56-year-old fat guys like coming back to life for Nero.
And then they get into the battle and it lasts 7 seconds and they're done.
Well,
18-year-old, because the 18-year-olds are rolling and shabbing and oh my goodness.
I could take them.
well, Boyd, thank you for being our historian on this LARPing flashback because we clearly did not remember all these details.
So
Love the
much
whole
there.
Frisbee detail as well. So
Yeah.
thank you, Boyd.
Anytime,
Yes.
guys.
The fandom is divided. It's time for Geek Court.
All right, again, Geek Traffic Court.
Yeah.
this is something
This is
that's
more like a
interesting.
debate like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Is
who
a trailer
wins,
a camper?
We're going to enjoy the hot dog.
Yes. And as soon as you said that, I'm reminded of when we went to, I think we were doing it for a theater class in college, and we went to see the
Yes.
play, and we had this
100%.
conversation between, is a camper a trailer, is an RV a trailer or a camper or home? And the people behind us were like, are you guys quoting a Seinfeld episode?
Yeah,
It was so absurd.
So Boyd from our last segment, who joined us for a guest interview, because his memory is so much better than ours.
Sometimes.
Okay, his
he's
often,
adamant that his memory is better than ours.
Yes, but famously, Steve and Boyd are both very set in their ways and thinking. Like, in our Geek Court segments, if it was the two of them, they would not be ending because neither of them would give up. So they will argue very passionately about things that do not matter. Like, is a hot dog a sandwich, or is a trailer a camper, or is a camper a mobile home, or what was it?
It was a mobile home and a camper as a trailer. And it not to take away from the fact that it was always him and I. And we were much younger, late teens and 20s. But I remember having a conversation. We went to college together for a while. We were driving back from classes once because we didn't stay on campus. And do you know the sad part is I can't remember the word off the top of my head, but there was one word. And he was refusing to believe that it meant what I thought it meant. And it did, for the record. But we had like a half an hour debate.
Yes.
And it would never
let it go.
It would never get evil, or we didn't yell at each other and call each other names. It was always like, you're wrong. You know, we were just both convinced that we were 100% right. I remember once we were playing Ultimate Frisbee and we got into it about something and you guys all just walked off the field. And I'm sorry, because I'm sure it was annoying then, but it's funny now.
Yes.
So that's why we say this is sort of a traffic court, because this is one of those, it doesn't really matter kind of situations. But there are, I don't know if, I have no strong opinions on either side of this question. I don't think Jeff does either, but it fits today's topic, and we wanted to talk a little bit about it. And it really comes down to which one, and the question is which one is geekier, but I think we can even make it more broad, like which one is the better direction, right? And that might be a geekier direction, but do you prefer a Renaissance fair? What's better, basically, Renaissance fairs or LARPing? Because to your point, the big difference is how involved you are. So I don't know which side you want to jump on, or if you want me to pick and then you can take the other side. I don't really.
All right. Well, I'm going to say that that in general, LARPing is better, because I think that, getting fully immersed in what you're doing in full engagement, it really helps you have fun and enjoyment without that separation. Because I feel like that separation gives you a certain sense of safety, but when you're really immersed, you're really in to the role play, I think it takes it to the next level. And I'm envious of a friend of mine, Liz, who hopefully we can get on a future episode where she can talk about her experience. But essentially, the Galactic Star Cruiser at Disney was Star Wars LARPing. Like, you got totally immersed and into character for 2 days. Yeah, it cost a lot of money, but man, that would have been an amazing experience, as opposed to, which is also kind of a cool experience, just walking around the Star Wars area of Disney. Like, that's the difference, right? In the one case, you're fully immersed, right there. LARP. Yeah. And in the other case, you're just walking around, and you can be dressed however you want to be dressed, but it looks like you're in Star Wars. So,
right. Are you walking around Tatooine wearing jean shorts and a Who Farted t-shirt? Or are you in rebel attire running from place to place because the Empire's on your tail? And that's a great point. And I do agree that LARPing is definitely more immersive. I think, and again, in my traffic court sort of way, I like the idea of the Ren Fair because I experienced it last year. The kids were able to go, get dressed up, get involved. There was no real LARP involved, but there were people walking. They had sort of it's like a miniature King Richard's Fair, right? So they had people kind of in character who would come and talk to you in character if you wanted to talk. But then like all of the booths were just like a vendor booth, right? They were kind of dressed up, but it wasn't like, barmaid, bring me an ale. It was, it's like, can I get a ginger ale, please? It was pretty normal if you wanted to be normal.
Yeah.
But I like that because it kind of bridges that gap, right? Because in this situation, like I know my wife would never get dressed up, right? I would. And I didn't, I wasn't in the space for it last year. I was like, well, we can go. It'll be fun. But I didn't feel like getting all the gear or whatever. And I don't have that much left. I never had a ton, but I had some stuff that could have kind of made it look like it. But the kids had some stuff. We bought some stuff on Temu or Shein or whatever the cheap ass site is where you can buy stuff. And I like it because it was cool that they got to be in it as much as they wanted to, but I didn't have to get involved. And Petra and I could just kind of hang out. And I will say some of that stuff was expensive. They had some really cool stuff. Now they had like real swords. We watched a real sword fight demonstration. That was actually very cool. They had metal armor, real metal swords, but it was a demonstration. It wasn't like a LARP.
Yeah.
So it was people who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So tell us what you think. If you're listening to us and you're mad because we're not giving it the credit it's due, if you love LARPing or Ren Fairs and you think we're a-holes for not digging in deeper, tell me. Tell us. Let us know. We'll talk about it at the beginning of the next show.
Yeah.
Or as soon as we get your email, and we'll be like, okay. And we're glad. If you love it, please tell us. I'd love to have that conversation with your friend you were talking about how is it to be in it.
Yeah.
Because I've only been to that galactic area once in Disney, and it was amazing just looking around. So to be part of the a storyline for a couple of days would be really, really cool.
Yeah, it only lasted for a couple of years, and it's one of those things where it was super pricey. I guess I kind of thought maybe the price would come down, or they'd offer some deals, or I don't know. Suddenly I'd come into some, $5,000 to just spend, but didn't quite happen. So
Dust it off and geek it out because it's a basement treasure.
They're digging in the wrong place.
All right, so we're going to drop down into the basement a little bit, and I'm going to preface this with we might be having to mix up a couple of segments here because I think this is going to drop into evolution as well. But let's start with some basement treasure.
Dust it off and geek it out because it's a basement treasure.
They're digging in the wrong place.
And I'm going to do this one right on top of it.
From floppy disks to streaming clicks, it's Geek Evolution.
I can always cut that out. Why not?
So,
But it does.
So I assume our treasures are foam swords that we built.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, you talk. I'm going to see if I can pull something off while we're
so the basement treasure and evolution, why these are combined, is because when in the late 80s, I think it was, Boyd's gonna, probably know exactly when it was. Oh shoot! Can you make sure you cut that out because we already would have talked to him. So the foam swords, you couldn't just go down and buy a foam sword. We didn't have the internet. You couldn't order a foam sword, and so we had to build our own. And we used PVC pipes. We used the foam that can cover a PVC pipe, the insulation foam, and duct tape. And I still remember constructing my two-handed sword, which and I did it because it was like 6 feet long, and I just wanted to whack you guys from afar. And it really, was. I loved that I could get that extra reach in there and really, really get a lot of spin on it and raise a good welt on my friends when they actually landed and connected. So that was my basement treasure, was that 6 foot long two-handed sword that I built.
Do you know what's funny? I think we all ended up building a sword of some level, but I remember trying to build, I don't remember if I actually finished them. So I was taking karate classes, and as you'll recall, my brother and I were very much into the ninja style of things, like in the late 80s for sure. Martial arts were huge, and taking martial arts classes, having weapons. We had nunchuck, we had throwing stars. I had tonfa that I was trying to learn how to use for real. And I remember making foam tonfa because I really wanted to beat someone with the foam tonfa. So that's really, really my my basement treasure.
From floppy disks to streaming clicks, it's Geek Evolution.
So, yeah, but now, like, I can't believe what you can buy for foam weapons and LARPing weapons. Just that there's so much out there. It looks real. And in fact, there have been cases where police have been called because they'll do these LARPing events in parks. And people call in like, there are people with weapons. They've got swords or guns, even though they're Nerf guns that they've actually, painted over or made to look like real weapons. And that's, it's so convincing. But just that, the swords, I can't speak to the quality of a $30 foam sword, but the fact that you can get one that looks realistic, and that's pretty awesome. I also, when we're thinking about this topic, I thought about the evolution of how, kind of D&D or LARPing has appeared in movies and TV. And I think about in Role Models is one of the biggest places where LARPing was featured in that movie, Role Models. And
it was a critical part of the plot.
Right. And they, at first, they kind of treated them the way they're often treated. They're, geeks, something to be mocked and ridiculed. But by the end, everyone's into it. They're all dressed up. They're part of the LARP, and they're fully embraced. And, evolved to Hawkeye, which I think came out 2 years ago or a year ago or so.
2 or 3, yeah.
And LARPing, once again, that kind of seemed a bit silly, but then they were kind of critical to the show and to the success of they helped Hawkeye out,
Right.
And so I think when we look at how this is portrayed now, even though it can be maybe seen somewhat silly, then they get that more embraced, and in fact often are helping our hero or protagonist out.
Yeah, and I think it's following the same track that a lot of this stuff that we've been reviewing the last few episodes, right? As things become more mainstream, or whether geeky stuff is becoming more mainstream, or the people who are us and the ones that came after us are now becoming so much more of the active population that it's almost like anything else. Things that were once counterculture for teenagers, when those teenagers are 40, are now normal, and their kids have lived with it their whole lives. Their parents are still, like boomer people would be like, that's the stupidest thing. Why are you getting dressed up? You're not,
Yeah.
But kids like us and younger, it's just something they've always known about. And so it becomes more part of everyday life. Look at, I think LARPing and D&D, that evolution sort of side by side, right? Because D&D itself became a lot more.
Yeah, because like you had pointed out,
accepted.
Monsters and Mazes, that was LARPing, right?
Yeah,
right? They went into the tunnels. They were pretending to be. They were essentially live action role playing, and that Satanic Panic. He's having psychotic episodes or something. To be honest, I don't remember that movie as well as you might.
So it's been a long time since I've seen it. I actually, I put it on my list to watch again. I just haven't yet. But he was playing the game for real. It was sort of, and again, the evolution of LARPing in that, I don't even think they called it that, but he was playing this game and it was the game. And now it's, everybody gets what it is for real. There's hit points, and I think we talked about it in one of the other episodes, but like most modern gaming structure came from Dungeons and Dragons gaming structure, levels and points and skills, and the higher you go, the better you can be, the stronger you are, the easier it is to do stuff. And LARPing, I don't know how that structure really works in each game session. I think again, each LARPing group does their own rules, but it's absolutely become more mainstream.
Your kids don't know how good you've got it.
All right. So I know this is a message to the new generation. Sometimes it's a message to all generations. And I think this is one of those that qualifies, because I feel like I need to hear this message too. Let's get out there and enjoy, these LARPs. Now that I've looked it up, I didn't know that these were all out there, all these things that we could be doing and engaged in. So it was more, this message, now that you're aware of it, listeners, tell other people, and let's keep this thing going and have these experiences. It made me think about when Steve, you mentioned vampires, that when my wife and I were in New Orleans, that there's this big vampire culture down there. And we took this cocktail tour, and we even got into this special vampire speakeasy. Now, we got there during the day because at night it's full of vampires. So, but it was still daylight out, so the vampires weren't around. So we were able to enjoy that special vampire bar, which is a secret bar in the back of the Fritzel's Jazz Bar. And you have to either be a member or know the secret code word, or you can go to this vampire boutique and they'll and you ask about it and they'll give you a special card. I'm sure if you buy some fangs or something, you can get into the bar, but not just anyone can walk in. You gotta have connections.
You gotta know where you're going. That sounds like a really cool experience, or maybe the beginnings of a new Anne Rice novel.
Right. So these experiences are out there, and we don't want them to go away like the Galactic Star Cruiser did. So let's enjoy all of these LARPing, Ren Fair, immersive experiences that are out there. Let's support those.
Yeah, and I'm going to double down, because I'm going to throw in this idea that, like, we talked with Boyd about it. We've talked about the weaponry a little bit about it, but like, there's a huge, especially for us, because we did this stuff when we were teenagers, maybe early 20s. Like, I've never experienced it as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Right out of college, I went into the Army. Then I came back and we both went to college, and then we went off and worked. And it's like everybody else's life, shit changes very quickly. And very rarely do we have a true escape. I mean, I think that's what we think of vacations, right? For me, the vacation is an ultimate escape of, I don't have any responsibility. My family, we like to go to Myrtle Beach, and it's a great week because I can just look out at the ocean for a week and go have food, and I don't, there's no responsibility. And I think the LARP is the true ultimate escape for the weekend. You stop being you go out and you can be this other character, and for at least a short period of time, you can forget your commitments with the world. You can be, I can be Gruel Holden with my big ass sword hitting all of my friends, because that's what he used to do. But you know what I mean? That would be amazing. So I agree. Get out there. If you have a LARP event, if you have a Ren Fair, go see it. And just escape for a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
It's critical hits and epic fails.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's actually from sort of a Ren Fair style video I had done. So it's kind of funny.
That's great.
So I think we've talked a little bit about it, but just to sort of crystallize it, some of the best stuff about a Ren Fair and about LARPing is the ability to become a part of that world. To me, that's the best. That's really the hit of it all. And I said it during, when I jumped on your comment to and a comment to the people who do it too, which is, you can really lose yourself in a good way. And I don't have a ton of exposition or more to say, but short and to the point, go lose yourself, become somebody else for a little while, and just really enjoy life on a different way.
Yeah, I love that when Steve and I first were exploring this topic, I just occurred to me, hey, we used to have those foam swords. We did the live action role playing, and what I loved about exploring this and why I love this podcast is this trip down memory lane also connects, and we kind of check in, think about the past, but also made me aware of how much LARPing there is going on. That's a critical hit. That we will go from those super basic PVC foam duct tape swords to what we have today and all the different types of LARPing that's going on. So I think that in general, LARPing has become a critical hit in a way that I wasn't even aware of before we did the research for this episode. So, for me, my epic fail is a personal epic fail that I've missed out on a lot of great LARPing. So I missed out on the Galactic Star Cruiser. I and missing out on years of doing this, but hey, they're still going on. And that's my commitment to you, Steve, is that we're going to do this. One of these weekends, we're going to get back out there.
We got to. Yeah, I will say the only fail I've found, and I talked about it earlier, and if I haven't already dropped the video in, I'll drop it in now, but there's that video clip I was talking about the guy who took LARPing too far and actually contaminated a real crime scene. So that's an epic fail in a very specific and unique individual situation, but should you happen to stumble on a real, I won't say dead body, hopefully you never stumble on a dead body, but a real situation, yes, lose yourself, but remember, we still have stuff you got to be careful.
Right.
So that would be my only fail. Like, don't throw glitter on a real dead body thinking you're going to use a necromancy spell. It might mess up the forensics a little bit.
Good point. Solid point.
So, listen, we answered Kristen's question or comment at the beginning. Send us an email, send us a note, put comments on the videos, comment. We've got a few people. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? Hold on. We have a few people who have signed up for our mailing list.
Nice.
Which is awesome. And I won't give out their whole emails, but if I can figure out a name from it, I think their names are. We have, it looks like Elizabeth, Eric, I want to say Kit, and I think it's John. So if you're one of those four folks and I've got your first name wrong, I apologize. I'm trying not to give out your email on the air. But thanks for joining the mailing list. We are going to start sending stuff out. And if you are listening, jump onto our website, originalgeekpodcast.com, join our mailing list. We're going to start getting, I think once we get the merch thing straightened out, if you've tried to order merch and it hasn't shown up, let me know. If not, we're going to work on that too. We've got a couple issues with the communication with the vendor, but once we get some stuff out, I think we'll do a merch giveaway. And so we'll do some random draw type situation there. But thanks for joining the mailing list and being part of our community.
Yeah, and hopefully this will help us form our post-apocalyptic tribe when we go to Wasteland Weekend in one of these years to come.
Would you say that one was in Canada? Is it Wasteland Weekend?
No, Canada has that medieval town.
Oh, yeah.
Wasteland Weekend is in California.
True. Double bonus. Let's go to California for the weekend.
So
now, if we can work out a way to do Comic-Con and Wasteland Weekend on the same trip, that would be the bomb. I'm old enough to say the bomb. Sorry.
It's so far out there, you have to use GPS coordinates to get there and not a street address. So.
Oh, Jesus.
Serious.
That's even better to me. A little scary.
Oh, the pictures are amazing. It looks like you're in Mad Max. So
All right. Well, send me that, or we'll post it up so folks want to catch it. We can take. We can.
yeah,
maybe
it's
I'll
coming
throw it
right
on,
up.
I'll
If
throw it
anyone
on
goes,
screen.
September 24th to 28th of this year, please let us know. That sounds amazing.
All right. Otherwise, as always, you can catch me at stevescarfo.com. I'm bringing my geeky humor out to the world. Come see me do a show. And if you're a listener, please come up and say hi. After the show, don't yell out during the show, but come out and have fun with us. And again, originalgeekpodcast@gmail.com.
All right. We'll see you OGs later.